So what you Roland Walker at the Independence Square? Tell us what is happening.
Coming to you live from the Independence Square here in Accra. We're sitting at the public gallery, so you can see the members of the public seated, and basically they've been here since the early part of the morning. Many of them have been here for the better part of the early morning. Many of them came as early as 4 to about 5 a.m. just to make sure that they caught a glance of what the activities are, what will be happening this morning. We have a number of tourists also who have made themselves available. You can see if you have a pan of the camera angle shot, that will give you the indication of not only the ordinary Ghanaian, but also tourists that have also come in to visit. In the meantime, we know that there's a certain significance to the independence anniversary that is always marked by our republic, because in 1957, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, of course, he led all that movement to make sure that we gain independence from the British colonialists. And just on the show, we've been telling you what exactly has been happening over the years, and we've also had members of the public coming significantly to look at what the issues are. Now, this is what I want to do. I want to speak to a number of the members of the public who are here, whether they speak English or not, we want to speak to them. Good morning. That's saying. Now, what saying? Okay, so this gentleman lives at Pokwase ACP and has decided to make his way here, and so you can see how tortuous the journey he has to undertake to make sure he's here. And about 6:30. 6:30. But the same thing I say over Independence anniversary. Now, you know, so what's your understanding of the Independence anniversary? On church the moon near the and I won't tell you any day.
Yes, a baby shares here. Yeah, present, you know, say, or yeah, fine, or yeah, me fair.
Okay, and so we've had tourists also who've made their presence felt here. I have a number of people. I would want to speak to a couple of them. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
And your name is what?
My name is Evarista Damburu.
Okay, so where do you live in Ghana?
I live in the airport in the Shire area.
Oh, just around here?
Yes.
So not too far from here. How long have you been here?
Oh, almost 20 years.
Okay.
In Ghana, yeah.
And
just this morning?
Yes.
Oh, almost
2 hours now?
No, 2 hours. Let's say 30 to 40 minutes.
What do you think is the significance of independence, of an independence of a country? Let's say if you take Ghana, for example. What do you think we have achieved? What do you think we can do better?
Oh, there's so many things. Ghana represents one of the first African country having independence in 1957. So it really symbolized so many things for us. Like we are becoming freedom, independent freedom, like so that it will also help people to express themselves. That's all I can say.
You have an accent, so you're French related, I think.
Yes.
So you speak a bit of French.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you say you want to give a message in French about our independence, how would you say it?
Oh, in a message French. Like how? Like
that you want to wish Ghanaians happy independence anniversary.
Juste pour leur encourager, pour dire que les francophones aussi sont avec eux pour leur supporter pour la journée de l'indépendance au Ghana. C'est tout, juste ce que je peux dire.
I should be able to translate that, but I can't. So what did you say?
I just say that as a francophone person, I'm just wishing them for their Independence Day, and then we are also here to support the Ghanaian.
And I see that you have some friends. Are they your friends?
Yeah, they are.
Okay. Okay. How are you?
Hey, yeah.
Yeah. That's the same.
Hey, yeah.
So what's your name?
My name is Rasmus.
Rasmus. So you're American?
No, we are from Denmark.
Denmark. Okay. Copenhagen. That's the capital. But which of the cities you come from in Denmark?
We are from Copenhagen, and she is from Aarhus.
I'm from Aarhus.
So what's your name?
My name is Bodil.
Okay. How long have you been in Ghana?
We have been here for a month.
Okay. So have you been around?
We have been around.
We say we're celebrating 61 years of independence. To you, let's say you coming to an African country for the first time, what does it mean to you?
It's a very important day. Also, now we have an understanding of your country. We have been to the Nkrumah Memorial. We have been to Cape Coast, Kumasi, the eastern region. So now we have an idea. And this day is not only important of history, it's also important for the future, that you are here gathering together, making hope for the future.
I like you.
Look forward.
I like you. You're a young politician, I think. but for you, what do you think you want to explore in Ghana while we are here?
Like here in Ghana, for us, it's also about exploring the culture, of course, but also just like people we meet, like doing their everyday life, like at a restaurant, at the street, in the trade show. Like that tells much more about a country than it's touristic sites, but to see the actual Ghanaian man or woman, that's what we like enjoyed most so far.
So you want to see how we live, the little things, right?
Yeah, just like, for instance, the way people carry things on their head, like I'm so amazed of it, like because it's very impressive, yeah. And
we always say that when you expatriates come or tourists, you always look at the little things that we think are not good enough. So that's what you may report about to your countrymen and women. But why do you think that is important for you? Because it's not in your culture?
Indeed, and like when you come to a different country, you always look at the difference and so, okay, what do people do here that's different from us, and what could we learn something from? Like the way you all, like we see people always outside being so friendly towards like strangers as well. That's some of the best experiences here. Like we feel very welcome everywhere.
Okay. Do you know how to say thank you?
Yeah. Medase.
Ah, okay.
Akpekakaka.
Akpekakakaka. All right, so akpekakaka just in a way means that thank you very much. But it's just the lighter side of what people want to look at when they come to a country. So we're speaking to the expats, the tourists, so to speak, and then the ordinary Ghanaian who has made the way here just to be part of the whole event. But the lenses will take you far off, so you get to see the Independence Park itself, or the ground itself, and then you get to find significantly what some of the events would be, because we have the security services who are going to lead the parades this morning. So you have the fire service, you have the Ghana Police Service, you have other accoutrements of the Ghana Armed Forces, especially when they go on those peacekeeping missions with the UN, and the other relevant security services who are here as part of the routine of marking the parade for 6th March. We'll try as much as possible, get down to the little things, and then we will want to speak to the ordinary officials who have made themselves available just to attend the event. We would want to ask them why significantly it is important for them to be part of an anniversary for which many have said we can also put to good use many of the times. Okay, so I know it's a bit of a drudgery trying to go down, so we'll try as much as possible. But the scene you're seeing currently is... The scene you're seeing currently is one of the scene in which you have the parade ongoing, and then you also have the various security services making themselves available just to be part of the overall event. So the security presence gives you an indication of what we should be looking at, because the security preparations for today's event gives us the indication that we can do all the things that are necessary to make sure we protect ourselves. Forget about all the difficulties of crime and all the concerns that have been raised over the period. The army have been well positioned to make sure that today becomes a significant event that is of importance to everybody. And we will get to where the dignitaries or officials are seated. We will want to speak to a number of them. Also get to have some of the sound bites that we can get. Particularly, we're speaking to some of the traditional leaders first. But let's speak to the head of the GCPP, Dr. Henry Latte. Dr. Latte, good morning to you.
Good morning.
And we always mark our anniversary all the time. For you, is it just the significance or the symbolism of marking the anniversary, or we should go beyond what the main events are?
Well, I find it very interesting. Most people are questioning sometimes why we're having our independence. But we all have birthdays, don't we? When Ghana became independent, I must have been 3 years old. I remember my mother carrying me shoulder high on the polo ground. I didn't understand what it meant. But what it means to me is that some people could sacrifice their lives for us to have the independence. And we have to celebrate the fact that we've been able to have independence south of the Sahara. We're the first to become independent from the British government. So it's a good thing to do, and a time to take stock and how we're going to improve our situation.
But we've been having reflections all our lives. The point that becomes the criticism for many of the commentary more recently, especially when it comes to what our nationhood is and how we should symbolize it, is that we haven't achieved what we should have. Because we've had contemporaries that have gone way beyond us.
Yes, you have a good point there, but in life people go through challenges. We've gone through our challenges. This is the time for us to take stock and move forward. I believe we can change things for the better. Life is about challenges. If you don't have challenges, you will not get anywhere. But when you face up to the challenges, everybody will be okay. It's not that easy. But we have to be able to believe in ourselves, to create the environment for business, to create the environment for government, to be able to create an enabling environment for the Ghanaians to pick up the pieces.
But what would be your best wish? Let's say 10 years from now, where would you want to see Ghana? Where would you think that we'll need to enact the best policies, formulate them in such a way that the country gets to where it has to be? What would you want to see Ghana in 10 years?
Well, what is very positive now is that, for example, the planting for food and jobs and the one factory, one district, if it is fully implemented, I mean, implementation, not about talking. Once we create the environment for Ghanaians to become business people, I want Ghana to be in a situation where in 10 years' time, we have more business people, which is the engine of growth, creating so much wealth that we're able to build our roads with trade instead of aid, like the president said. And then Ghana will be... We are in the center of the world, and once we create an environment that most people realize that this place is where things is happening, this is where it's happening, we'll have more. Ghana will be a paradise, and I want to be in a situation that I travel around the world, and I know we have Ghanaians who are making it here and can travel anywhere and also see the world.
So we have an array of traditional leaders here. I can see a couple of them seated, and just not to make sure that I mention all the names, I have the Nungwa Manche, somebody I've known very well for the better part of my practice of journalism. What would you say is the importance of marking independence for Ghana?
It's actually what you work with. It's nothing only afford cash be sane aye ebiju. Well, as individuals, we were born at a particular time. No cash be okay or your birthday. When we were former bujro Ghana monfen, it is very necessary sakanyafi. Especially akewofe mancheme. We are the custodian of this country. For now, one a good 25 years. There has never been any coup d'etat in this country. Unlike right from 1957 coming a series of coup d'etats in the academy the future shipojin can be a future one washing to Tedianche. No Akacheme, if you want to back, Nikafe Han who are Mugumi. It will be a young pattern, one be here pattern. She for solid 25 years. Military intervention we have every cause to celebrate and celebrate it well. When I walk back, Ghana warfare the star on your it should be a different star in Africa. Try no manyawa.
Well, so that's an Nwamanche, and we have a number of the traditional leaders also seated here. Not only members of the clergy, but also these traditional leaders. They also tend to symbolize our traditions, our statehood, our nationhood in many ways. And we will want to speak to, the chairman of the PPP. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning to you, and a happy Independence Day to all Ghanaians who are listening and watching your program this morning.
But if we have to do an analysis of what our independence signifies, we've been celebrating it, and I've been asking all the political leaders today, why should we be celebrating independence when perhaps we could have done better than we should? Well, if you look at what the commentary is.
Well, definitely we could have done much better. But your birthday is your birthday, and you're going to celebrate your birthday whether you are on a sick bed or not, or whatever the circumstances may be. You want to do better. Yes, Ghana in 61 years ought to have done much, much, much better than what we have been able to achieve today. Considering that in 1957, we were much ahead of our contemporaries like Malaysians. And today, when you compare the state of Malaysia, you will find that they are leap years ahead of us. While we are still struggling with many of our citizens competing with the goats and cows to have water, untreated water, you go to Malaysia and very little, almost everyone has access to treated water. While we are struggling, responding to nature's call in the bushes, they are not. While our roads are death traps, you go to Kuala Lumpur and it's a sight to behold. So yes, we ought to celebrate our birthday, but we ought to do better. And we ought to be able to do that within this century, because it has been done by others, and we ought to be able to do so.
If you want to call on the political leaders to make sure that, well, we create that unity front to spearhead our democracy, what would that call be? What would be that significant call?
Well, the significant call would be to address our infrastructural deficit. Everywhere we turn, something is wrong. Our deficit in housing, our deficit even with ensuring that all of our citizens receive the basic primary and secondary education that will inure to our benefit. All of that is lacking. And we need to ensure that when we enter into a coalition of any sort, that those become the issues, the basic issues that will transform this nation ought to be our main concern to address.
Thank you very much. And we've been speaking to the chairman of the PPP, Nia Lotebru Hammond. And then I also want to speak to former presidential candidate of the CPP, Ivor Kwabena Greenstreet. Uncle, how are you?
I'm well.
You're taking my mic from me. And Haji, how are you too? All right. So you've come here with your leadership. It's important, but what for you should be the thoughts running through our mind as we sit here, of course, making sure that we signify the anniversary? What should be the thoughts beyond just the significance or the symbolism of the event?
Well, I think fortunately the organizers of the program have assisted us with what should be in our thoughts. And you can see on the front of their brochure, they have a title, Ghana Beyond Aid. And so I think those were even the thoughts of the first president and those who assisted him in achieving independence for this, our great nation. They were trying to achieve a sovereign state that wasn't going to be dependent on its former colonial masters, but rather was going to develop its resources and create employment for the benefit of its people. And that's what independence is about. And so we're celebrating Independence Day. It's a great day for all Ghanaians. It's a day when we should come together as a nation, as one people, and rededicate ourselves to that cause.
Have we failed as a country? Could we have done better?
We haven't failed. We could have done better, but it's a long road, and it's a difficult journey, and it's not easy.
Sorry, well, we had the...
And I'm sure we will get there, as time goes by. We've taken a few wrong turnings here and there. In fact, on occasions, we have even taken a U-turn. But we continue to rededicate ourselves to those noble ideals, and we'll continue to do so.
The whole idea about Ghana going beyond aid as being sustainable, maybe even creating more than enough to even lend to other countries, is that a myopic mirage in the first place? If perhaps my lexicon is not too much of it.
It is not a myopic mirage. In fact, it is our duty as human beings and citizens to dedicate ourselves to that cause to ensure that it becomes a reality. How can it be put a mirage when we have a nation that has been blessed with oil, gold, gas, cocoa, timber, diamonds, bauxite, fertile lands, strong human beings? That means that we have a duty not only to our own citizens to make it a reality, but like you rightly pointed out, make it a reality by contributing our quota to the assistance of our brothers and sisters in other countries. It is not a mirage. Let us continue to rededicate ourselves to that cause and make it a reality. It is our duty as leaders, whether in government or in opposition, to ensure that it becomes a reality.
And you have been a presidential candidate before, so you are the forefront of perhaps also leading the whole conversation for this as well. What should be some of the pointers? What should be some of the things that we need to be doing in ensuring that we get to that milestone of creating wealth that is sustainable enough and then be dependent on in the long term?
Well, so that is why you have different parties with different philosophies and different ideas as to how to ensure that you have a vision which can achieve that noble purpose of a Ghana beyond aid. So we believe that that can be best achieved by ensuring that we do a number of things. Key among them, of course, is to ensure that we earn far more from our nation's natural resources than we are doing at the moment. We need to earn more from our gold, more from our cocoa, more from our oil, more from our gas. That's what God has bequeathed us, our great nation. And we can earn far more for them if we just renegotiate these contracts and make sure that they benefit the people of this country.
Uncle Ivor, thank you. Ivor Kobda Green Street, a former presidential candidate for the Convention People's Party, who will be speaking to Honorable Niayi Horisankra, member of the NDC.
Okay, that's Roland Walker there at the Independence Square. He's speaking to a lot more people. We will touch base with him a bit later.